Hey, D3 Berserker here, coming at you with a Witch Doctor skill and runes video. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first skill we're going to discuss is the Poison Dart. Originally, if it has no rune whatsoever, it's basically just a single dart that does poison damage over time. And then one of the runes with the poison dart you can use is splinters. This basically shoots multiple poison darts at the same time, and those darts also cause the poison damage over time as well. Now to end off poison dart, they have the numbing dart. The numbing dart pretty much still gives you that poison damage over time, but it also slows down the enemy. Alright, the next skill we're going to talk about is corpse spiders. Basically, when it's not runed, it's basically just spiders that crawl out and damage the opponents. And now if you rune corpse spiders, you actually get leaping spiders. These spiders are actually a different color and they actually leap at the opponents. The next skill we're going to look at is Play the Toads. Basically what you do is you throw a pack of toads at the opponents and they explode on impact. The next skill I'm going to show you is Grasp of the Dead. Basically, it's a skill that summons kind of a plague circle that slows enemies and drains their health. It's a great supporting skill. Usually use like Plague of the Darts or Fire Bats in correlation with it, and it takes down targets pretty quick. I'm actually just going to jump right into the rune without showing an example of both runes. Basically, the rune is the Unbreakable Grasp. It just basically increases the amount of enemies that you can slow down in your Grasp of the Dead. It's definitely a great skill to utilize. Next skill I'm going to show you is Fire Bats. Basically, on Runed, Fire Bats has a cone type effect spell where it just shoots out. It kind of has a limited blast radius, but basically it's just a pillar of bats that shoot out around you. And then when you put the rune in for Fire Bats, you get Dire Bats. This is no longer a cone magical effect, but it's more of a kind of like an arcane orb for the wizard, but it just goes through all enemies. It's pretty powerful, but it is inaccurate at times. The next skill I'm going to show you is Haunt. Haunt is actually a pretty cool skill. Basically what happens is if you're in a group of mobs, you can haunt one of them. It's kind of like a curse, and then it drains down their life. And then if that mob dies from the haunt skill, it'll actually jump to the next target. So essentially, when you're in a group, you could put one on and just watch each one die. The next skill I'm going to show you is just the Summon Zombie Dogs. Basically, you summon 3 zombie dogs that fight by your side. Then when you rune summon zombie dogs, you can summon rabid dogs. Basically, these dogs, they are a different color. They turn green because they're poisonous, like the description says. And pretty much they go out, they do some more damage, drain the enemy's health. The next skill I'm going to show you is Soul Harvest. Basically what this does is you have a radius kind of where you AoE on mobs, and it basically just for each mob that's in that radius, it'll actually give you some intelligence. So in the next clip, just notice when I open up the menu, just notice the DPS. You can see how much it increases. The next skill I'm going to show you is Sacrifice. Sacrifice is pretty cool, but since there is a cooldown on summoning zombie dogs, it's not the most effective spell as of right now in my eyes. But basically, what happens is you can blow up your zombie dogs to do some massive damage to targets. Next, we're going to move over to Horrify. Horrify is basically your fear. Basically, it's just an AoE effect fear, and it's just another tool to kite mobs or do whatever you need to do as a witch doctor to stay alive and kill whatever you need to kill. Alright, now we just come down here to passive skills. As you see here in the beta, you get Circle of Life skill. Pretty much whenever an enemy dies, there's a 5% chance that a zombie dog will automatically emerge. Basically, zombie dogs are somewhat weak, so this kind of keeps up, keeps them up to date. So you don't have to try to summon them, since there is a pretty long cooldown on this, the resummon of the dogs. Another one we have here is basically it reduces all damage taken by you and your pets by 20%. This is pretty good if you're soloing for sure, because who doesn't like damage reduction, especially since you're semi-glass target, as they say. It's definitely good to have that. And then the other one, if you're in a group, this one's really good as of right now, especially if you're using fire bats and such, is basically your spiritual attunement. Your maximum mana is increased by 20%, and you regenerate 1% of your maximum mana per second. So definitely a great skill to have if you're in a group, so you can just do fire bats or any crazy AoE type of spells that you have. And anyways, that is pretty much just the skills and runes of Diablo 3 beta. I can't wait till it comes out. Only roughly a month away.